everyone. I present you all to the panelist and the moderator over here. So the moderator for the panel discussion is Deep Chheda, CA Deep Chheda, as well as the panelists for the discussions are Umang Soni, Henik Shah, and Karan Shah. We are truly privileged to have such esteemed individuals share their expertise with us today. Looking forward to hear their background qualifications as well as to get a sneak peek around from there.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Keval Gogri, Gamdon. So, our moderator, CA Deep Chheda, he is a member of ICAI from 6 years, and he provides consultancy and litigation of indirect taxes. He has worked with various clients across the globe, and he is a managing committee member of the CVO-CA Association. Other than outside of work, he is passionate about reading, food, Formula One, music, and cars, and he is also a good mentor. Now, I would like to call upon CA Deep Chheda to give the introduction of the other panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, Keval. So, before we begin for today's session, first of all, on behalf of CVO-CA Association, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude toward KVO Stanakwasi Jain Mahajan and Matushri Manibai Shivji Devji Kanya Kedavni Fund and the conveners, Dr. Ila Dedia and Lax sir. I think Lax sir is not here, but thank you for giving us an opportunity in this wonderfully organized Tech Fest related to technology, where you have wonderfully covered various sectors and how technology is impacting us in daily life. We keep listening about AI, robotics, this, that, everything, but bringing it on ground and bringing everything together in such a huge manner itself is a big task, and thank you for making us a part of that. We appreciate, and we appreciate all the efforts as well. Thank you so much. Before we proceed, I would like to introduce our panelists, 3 panelists for the day. First, I would like to begin with CA Umang Soni. Umang is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the past 12 years, and having expertise in direct tax and allied laws, management audits, business consultancy, digitalization, enterprise risk management, and capital markets. And his thirst for technology goes beyond his thirst for numbers. He has completed a post-graduation program in artificial intelligence and machine learning from Texas University. He is the founding partner of AAUM and Company, where Umang's leadership has enabled the firm to soar to great heights in the world of finance. And he has also established his own fintech company, Pot of Wealth Nurturing LLP, which specializes in algorithmic trading in options. And in a short span of 3 years, they have amassed an impressive $6 million in assets under management. Beyond the profession, Umang is also a managing committee member of CVO-CA Association. So Umang. And then we have Henik with us. Henik is the proprietor of the CA firm Henik Dilip and Company. His core areas of practice include tax and ERP implementation, and he is one of the few CAs who has a Tally's developer license. And he is also involved in in committees of CVO-CA, and is also associated with various organizations like Kachi Jain Foundation, Vaddo Mahajan, Manav Kalyan Kendra, and Ankarwala Ahimsa Dham. And our third panelist for the day, Karan Shah. Karan is a chartered accountant since 2017, and he has eagerly joined as a director of Shan Plus Lifestyle Private Limited, the family business specializing in manufacturing of home textiles. Beyond his primary role in his business, he is very keen and passionate about office automation and automation of office routine processes. And he is also an active subcommittee member of the CVO-CA Youth Committee. And he's also he's an enthusiast in the field of automation and AI, and has delivered various lectures in this arena. So thank you so much. So today's session, the format will be we have curated a few questions, and our panelists will be answering those questions one by one. And there are some demo videos which they would also like to show and explain to us as to how technology is working at the back end. So those videos will be played on the screen. So yeah, we'll begin with the first question. So Karan, when we speak about office automation, what do you mean by office automation?
So office automation is anything that will automate our boring and repetitive tasks. Let's say you want to send emails to your 500 clients and you cannot do it one by one. So a tool will be created that will send all of these emails in a click. So that is a glimpse of automation. Similarly, in every routine procedure that you think is not oriented towards expanding your business and is an adherence, so that can be automated. Similarly, let's say you want to match GSTR 2A. So a click can do that. You don't need to have a person that will do it every day. Okay.
Okay. Second question is for Henrik. When we say automation in accounting, automation and development of technology in accounting, what do you mean by that?
See, since the past, I would say 10-15 years, computerized accounting has gained a huge momentum. And in the last few years, with the coming in of GST and e-way bill and e-invoicing, manual data entry is simply not possible. So when we say automation in accounting, what we basically mean is elimination of manual effort in basic data entry. As far as tech is concerned, technology is concerned, accounting has got its own principles, as basic as debit the receiver, credit the giver. There has to be an element of identification as to whose account needs to be debited or credited. In all these places, it is technology that comes into picture. Yes.
And Umang Bhai, how is technology disrupting the world of investment and share trading and capital markets?
Deep, what has happened over this period is we always see bull run in markets, okay, and but we don't see the small data points which gets captured, like retail participation, what is the financials of company which comes every quarter. In addition to that, there are say investor analyst calls. Now those scripts are available online for each of the listed companies, say 3,000 companies which are listed on stock market, you have analyst call available. Those analyst call can be read through not by an individual in one go. Those have been read by the robots and they are trying to read and train themselves from those analyst call, what we are looking at. Okay, initially what we talk about AI is the final step. But there are lot many steps within that, like machine learning, own logics. So when we say what we talk about that, when I want to go to Chinchpokli Wadi and I travel by train, I have to get out at Chinchpokli, travel by road, take left, right, and that's what we have trained our mind. But similarly, we have to train robots initially, and that is machine which is getting learned from our instructions. Now they themselves will train themselves and come out with ideas which we wouldn't talk about, and they are creating wonders. So there are various models being developed through AI from an investment perspective, largely because there are multiple data points getting captured, and this is not the thing which is happening today. It has been happening for years, and years exercise of data capturing is enabling AI. So it's totally disrupting, and investor calls getting recorded and thought through is creating positive, negative thoughts for each of the stocks. And that is called sentiment analysis, what we talk about in market. Okay, so that's how it is beyond our mind what is going through. But obviously when we get into the journey, we have to take baby steps and finally go back to the AI milestone.
Thank you, Umang Bhai. So I have a question for all three of you all. All three of you all are, of course, chartered accountants coming from financial backgrounds, whereas we are sitting on a panel which is talking about technology, right? So what made you so keen and interested in technology, and what has been your journey that you've merged both your streams and come up with something new, a niche arena on its own?
So I was earlier associated with MCX, Multi Commodity Exchange of India Limited, and previously I was working with engineering company. So it was a Lala company, typically a owner-driven company. So owner just wants data on the point, on the table. अरे आपके पास इतना टीम है, आप क्या कर रहे हो? मुझे MIS क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है? So that was the point where I have to do something on technology, automate to larger extent, and cannot be person dependent. That was the starting point, and when I joined MCX, I got an opportunity to develop the trading platform for MCX, which is the happening after 15 years existence of MCX. So that was the turning point for me to get in the role of business analyst, working with AI, working with analysts, data analysis and everything when I moved to AI ML course. Thank you.
So in my case, the starting point I would say was lack of quality staff at office who could basically work in accordance with the set principles. Furthermore, the changes in regulatory requirement, say for example, the data requirement for GST returns or e-invoice or e-way bill. And then later on, the regulatory requirement which has come in for charitable institutions in the past 2 to 3 years. There was a need that chartered accountants anyway understand the regulatory requirement, and to link it with the technological setup that exists so that the reports are more accurate and we comply better with the laws of this country. And that is what got me in.
So my journey started in an interesting way. So when I joined my articleship, I was given a task of filling up 50 to 60 forms. And I had imagined myself as a proper auditor of a company like Tata or Birla, and I was here filling up forms, physical forms. That was a boring task for me. I didn't want to spend my 3 years doing that. So first I came up with a tool to automate all this. I just made an Excel which can automate and fill 50 forms at the blink. So that is how my articleship journey started, and I started using technology. When I joined my business, I didn't want to limit myself to accounts or taxation. I want to look after sales, I want to look after data analysis, and everything that can help me expand my business. So if I am just stuck at accounts, I cannot focus on that. So I started creating tools that can help me automate or eliminate my involvement in accounts and taxation. So I started with RPA tools. RPA is robotic power automation. So what it does is, you have to give him instructions. Do this, do this, do this. First step is this, second step is this. So using this, I automated my bank statements. So every day, a tool, a bot, my minion will go and he will download all the bank statements necessary. He will convert it into a file that is eligible for import into Tally, and he will import it. So normally all those boring tasks that you can imagine an accountant or a tax field person has to do every day. So everything is done in half an hour at my company using all this.
So when you say automation of various tasks, so can you dive into a bit detail as to what kind of tasks can be automated?
Sure. Let's start with the example that I gave, bank statements. So every day in every business, one has to download bank statements, give it to the accounts team, they will do entry, they will give you the suspense list, and you have to do this. So this is a simple RPA Power Automate that has a list of instructions predetermined. It will go to that website, it will input my login ID details, and it will use the similar processes that we use, and it will download everything automatically. The yellow mark you see, that is automation. I have just asked him to click on that particular button. It will find that button and click it.
So do you mean to say that the bot itself is downloading the statement and you have nothing to do with this?
Yes, I only had to click start button and everything else is doing on its own.
Okay.
Similarly, let's say you want to see what your competitors are selling at Amazon, and you want to download details of first 500 articles of a particular article. So using RPA, you can extract those data in a minute. Here is a demo of Amazon Data Scrap. So now I have only given data of extracting 4 fields: the name of the product, the brand, MRP, and ratings. So within 30 to 40 seconds, it will extract all the data.
So has the bot here gone online, searched for a shirt on Amazon,
Yeah.
and fetched all the results for you?
Yeah, just like any other internet or office, he is doing exactly what you tell him to, but in a better way and in a systematic way. Similarly, let's say you want to deep dive into your sales data every day. So a bot can be created that can extract the data from your accounting software, that can input into your analysis software and do analysis for you in a click. And you won't have to analyze your data every day. So many tasks can be automated, which can come in handy.
So, what are the various tools that you are using to do this, and what are the strategic and operational benefits that you have felt in your own business by automating these tasks?
There are many tools available, but as a MSME, the first challenge is that major of these tools are highly costly. So, especially in a family business, it is very difficult to convince your parents and other family members that you have to spend on technology. What I use are mostly free, and I also studied using YouTube. So I mostly use Excel. Excel has a very powerful feature in it called Power Query. Using Power Query, most of your reports can be automated. Similarly, I use Power BI. I use RPA software called Power Automate Desktop and similar free softwares.
Is there any example that you can show us with regard to some simpler automation using Excel?
Yeah, sure. So what I showcased was RPA, Power Automate Desktop. Similarly, in Excel, every business has to match GSTR input data. That is a very basic need that every business has to do monthly. So a tool can be created. So similarly, I have created a tool here. In Excel, let's say Majanwadi wants to send a thank you letter to all the panelists. And let's say there are 50 to 60 panelists. So this was created in a minute. A software was created, a letter draft was readied, and all the email IDs were put. So a letter can be sent this in a minute.
Can you show it again? I think people missed the video.
Yeah.
Can we show the video again?
You will see here the Excel sheet. I have given the list of details of panelists here. This is the letter format. I only have to click a button, create PDF. A simple 4-line code is written that will go and make PDF of all those. Similarly, you can email this.
So what are the different use cases of these? What are these called, and what are the use cases in normal business?
See, this is a very common use case. Similarly, if in recent times, there was an update for MSMEs wherein you have to pay an invoice within 15 days or 45 days. Now, every businessman would like to send this confirmation to all these clients that I am a MSME. Now, how do you send this data? You either can have a person do this over a day or two to a 200, 500 class clients, or you can just make a tool like this and send it over WhatsApp or email. Both can be automated.
Thank you. And coming to Umang Bhai, you said that technology can be used for doing analysis of various companies on the stock market, right? So we know that there is fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and multiple things which are involved. So how do you use technology to do this fundamental analysis of a company? There are 3,000 companies on a stock exchange, right? How do we actually go about and do fundamental analysis and see which is the company we want to invest in? Or some company that I have invested in, the fundamentals have gone bad and now I need to exit my holding from the company. So how do you do that using technology?
There is a brilliant tool which is freely available in market, and it's named Screener. And Screener easily runs through all the financial data since inception of the company. And so here we are trying to create a screener. We're just logging to the screener account, and we are creating screener. Screener can be based on your logic, like you want to keep, say, return on equity more than 15%, sales growth more than 15%, profit growth, market cap, debt to equity ratio. similar approach. It's a basic thing I've tried to crisp about. And when you just run this, and you will just see the screener running into and easily point out 190 odd companies on the screen. Okay, and you can just copy paste and put in Excel. There is an option of export, but it is in the paid version. The cost of paid version is 5,000 rupees plus GST for annual. Once you are okay to run this, you can opt for paid version if you wish to. Okay. Also, there are many predefined screeners available. Okay, and this does not require a lot of coding. You would have seen that it's a basic thing. What you want logic, and just type it out. Simple. You are not coding. Okay, so there are a number of screeners available, popular screeners and theme-based screeners. Those screeners also data you can. It also runs into it, and you can copy the parameters of those popular screeners and merge with your own screen themes. Okay, so it boils down to say 4 companies itself. Okay, and this can be a ballpark. And when you click on each of the company, you get into data of those company specific, and also peer analysis of those company. And it gives some technical analysis data like price action, not much, but screener is more focused on only fundamental analysis. And each of the companies, you get all the data like analyst report, presentations, their financials, everything in a tabular format becomes easier to grasp things. And nowadays, when you go back to home, you can ask your child to play with Excel, they can play with the numbers and get you more insights out of it. So it becomes easier. That is the very superb tool available.
Thank you, Umang bhai. Coming to Henik. So, Henik, when we talk about technology in accounting, so what are the possibilities of technology in accounting field and in taxation field per se?
So basically, when we begin with accounting, and for later on from that data we get our taxation reports. There are 2 types of accounting possibilities. One is when you use a software which is your local server based, that is a desktop based software, and the other is when you use a browser, that is a cloud based software. In a cloud-based software, you can access it anytime, anywhere. A desktop-based software would predominantly be limited to that PC or to that network of PCs. So when we begin with, say, desktop-based Tally, when we begin with Tally, say for example, this is the data of geo sales. So basically, a company is selling their goods on JioMart, Ajio, JioMart, and this is how the Excel showed how the report was. And this, the very Excel that came in from JioMart, that very Excel we can import it to Tally, giving the set template once, only once, and it will automatically import, that is record, account all the transactions which have happened in JioMart in that period. Right now it is basically importing those transactions. And as we see in the sales report, we get our the transaction record. Now this is automation. What happens is when we involve in element of machine learning or AI, which is essentially used, say for example, in bank statements. What happens is we have a particulars column in the bank statement which has got certain numbers, maybe a UPI ID, and then there is somewhere the name of the person or the company. Using the functionalities of AI and machine learning, we can train utilities. There are certain third-party utilities available. We can train those utilities to record those transactions in the correct ledger. That is, find out the ledger on the basis of the narration. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, this is a desktop-based, that is the local system-based software, and there is a cloud-based software. Zoho. Zoho. So we look at a cloud-based software right now, that is Zoho Books. It is developed in India, one of the very famous applications. And in Zoho, we'll be importing a bank statement. So this is the interface of Zoho. We click on import bank statements, and it would almost very easily identify the fields, and you can get it imported. This is basically mapping exercise which needs to be done only once when we are setting up a new bank in the company. And
Henrik, sorry to interrupt you. What do you mean when you say mapping exercise?
see, what happens is any data that comes in is predominantly in a tabular format, wherein we have got headings. So for example, there will be a date column which will contain the dates. And then there will be an amount column. There may be certain columns relating to taxation, for example, CGST, SGST, IGST. So we need to explain, for once we need to explain it to the software that where are those columns and what do those columns mean. That is what is meant by mapping. That is, we are explaining, we are linking the Excel, the PDF, the data in those formats to the software. Over here we see that the bank statement has been imported, and when we use the AI functionality over here, later on in the later stages, when we use AI functionality using third-party apps, it will automatically even identify the ledger name.
So we just saw that there were say 85, 90 entries, and if I have to myself sit and account them or give it to an accountant, right? Assuming 2 minutes per entry, it will easily take me 3 hours.
Yes,
But we
absolutely.
are saying that by automating this or by creating templates for this, we just did that 3 hours work in 3 minutes. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Once only the mapping exercise takes certain time, and in case of technology-based, that is AI/ML based tools, the explanation takes certain time, and that is again a one-time activity. Rest everything is in
Is
minutes.
this only for geo sales, or it can be done for all other e-commerce platforms, or for in general anything
See,
in relation to Tally or
I
Zoho?
would say any data and every data which is available either in any exported format, for example, Excel or PDF, or text format, CSV, JSON, or wherein the API is being shared by the third-party software provider. So in case of POS softwares, you have got your barcode scanning softwares usually used in hypermarkets, supermarkets. Then we have got certain softwares which are used in manufacturing industries specifically. And those data can be linked to the accounting softwares. Two examples I showed over here. One is Tally, one is Zoho Books. There are multiple other softwares as well, QuickBooks, Busy, Marg, etc. And predominantly all those softwares have this functionality of capturing, mapping, or importing data from other softwares and other formats.
So, but what happens when there are mistakes in the data, there are errors in the data? Because at the time of capturing the data, there could be some mistake made while making the sale bill, or payment लेते वक्त credit card machine में एक zero ज़्यादा चला गया, एक zero कम चला गया, right? There could be errors. So does the system work flawlessly even with the errors, or will it stop, or what happens exactly? Because out of 1,000 line items, there is always a possibility that 2-3 invoices or 2-3 line items will have an error, because 100% accuracy is not possible at the ground level. So what happens in that scenario?
So usually what you are saying, in our language we call them exceptions. There is usually 2 to 3 exceptions which tend to arise. Normally not in a daily system, I would say. For example, in case of geo sales, this is something that if 100, 200 items are sold every day, then every day or whatever the periodicity is from which the reports are available, we keep on importing them. But certain exceptions do arise, and in case of those things, usually it is at the pre-mapping or mapping level, wherein we can capture those exceptions and we can instruct the software not to import those exceptions. And in this way, say for as basic as GeoSale, so if there is an exception, we can easily filter out from the sales bill number that which items have not been imported. Further, in case of Zoho as well as Tally and in other softwares also, there is an exception report that comes in. And from that report also, it is very easy to identify what transactions have not been imported. We can go back to our source data, which can be a software or an Excel, and rectify the error then and there, irrespective of the number of line items.
But this is with regard to, say, where the line items are huge, right?
Yes.
Where data is coming in a particular format, you can import it into Tally.
Yes, yes.
But there are always in a business small expenses which need not come in a particular format always, right? Daily overhead expenses, some other indirect expenses, some small, say, a manufacturing company is selling scrap. That data will not be captured in any POS machine or at any retail counter, and it will come in a different format.
Yes.
And so as well for expenses, other than your routine purchases, a lot of expenses, auditor fees, legal fees, any other traveling expenses, they don't come in a particular format. How can that be automated? Or like, just to give you context, जूने ज़माने में बुक्स भेज देते थे, पूरा फाइल बुक भेज देते थे, इनवॉइसेस भेज देते थे सीए के पास, अकाउंटेंट के पास कि आप भेज कर दो, राइट? हाउ कैन वी सिंप्लीफाई दैट इन टुडेज टाइम?
So, firstly, let's talk about those expenses or those transactions which couldn't be recorded. So, as everybody would be aware, there is a concept in GST wherein somebody has sold goods to us. The report is available to us. The report is available in form GSTR 2A and in GSTR 2B. One thing, there are features in both these softwares wherein the RECO possibility is available. So on the basis of that reconciliation, we can get to know what transactions we have not recorded. Furthermore, as I explained, that the bank statement utility can have functionalities of AIML. So from there as well, when we do a ledger scrutiny, when we understand what transactions or what payments have we made for which there is no supporting expense, from there we can come to know. The other part, as you asked about sending of documents. So as far as cloud-based softwares are concerned, since I had given demo of Zoho, I'll talk of Zoho. Zoho has got this functionality wherein you can attach documents in the transaction itself. It is an inbuilt functionality. Even while creation of masters, if some image or something needs to be attached so that anybody at later stage can view that image or document. Similarly, in Tally, although not a direct feature, but through customization, that is by development, such features are available, and through browser access feature of Tally, the same can be accessed by the CA as well. Although there is a limitation on documents, the better way I would suggest would be to use certain cloud, maybe OneDrive or Google Drive or SharePoint or something which can enable both the company as well as their CA, even though geographically at a different location, to access the same data, the same financials and the same other supporting records as well.
Okay. Thank you, Anik. I think from accounting we'll go to investment perspective again. So Umang bhai, we spoke about fundamental analysis, right? But people like me who are not active investors, I work in GST and मेरे को नहीं समझता है फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस. मेरे को सिर्फ ऐसा चाहिए कि भाई कोई ऐप हो जो मेरे को हेल्प करे कि कौन सा कंपनी या कौन सा म्यूचुअल फंड अच्छा है. आई विल इन्वेस्ट इन दैट ऐप एंड आई विल कंटिन्यू विथ माई डे जॉब. देन लेट passive income create itself. So what tools or what apps or what can I use which will help me to make such investment decisions for myself?
So for passive investments, largely people opt for mutual funds. There are also passive investment options in stocks. A very small example which every broker has tried to inbuild, people do SIP in mutual funds. Now SIP in stocks are available, which is the very small automated execution mechanism of stock investment. So any company which you like the most, like your grandfather would have bought something and now if you have hold, you would be a billionaire, a crorepati. Typically, people say कि मैं करोड़पति बन जाता तो आज शुरुआत कर लो stock SIP करने से. Simple on a mutual fund, you may be associated with some mutual fund distributor or anybody, but there are tools available in market like Paytm Money, which is no doubt a Paytm is getting banned, but Paytm Money app gives you ranking of mutual funds at various parameters. You can rely on those parameters, like they give on based on returns, fund value, AUM handled, fund manager. They give ratings on that. Similarly, Money Control also gives ratings on the mutual funds, different theme-based mutual funds. Okay. Similarly, on the stock side, people would know Smallcase is a good platform where various fund managers come in and give theme-based small cases. Okay, and those small cases now are also developed based on AI. Okay, so it's not that just we have to know AI to inbuilt into investments. It is many things are getting enabled and you become part of that enabled journey. Okay, so there are momentum-based small cases which are largely based on models of AI. Those are not पुराने ज़माने के फंड मैनेजर्स जो financials देख के आज न्यूज़ आर्टिकल आया तो ये आज बढ़ने वाला स्टॉक वैसा नहीं है. So those are very small momentum-based, energy-based small cases which are theme-based. Again, those are automated getting executed in your broker accounts. You just subscribe to that small cases. Many of them are freely available. Some are with a basic subscription of 3,000 to 4,000 per annum basis, and no limit on the investments, SIPs, nothing. You just get reminders on weekly or a monthly basis कि आपको you have to sell some, buy some, and those are they give you all the logics, and you can see the records of 2 to 3 years. Okay. Also, I'll get into another aspect which video was played upon, is from the trading perspective. You can inbuilt AI in TradingView. TradingView is a platform where you can see various charts of the stocks, indexes, futures. Now you may have some idea, say basic, कोई भी बोलेगा कि RSI मूविंग एवरेज से बढ़ गया, ऑल टाइम हाई पे है तो और हाई होगा, समथिंग ऑन दोज लाइंस, या लास्ट 1 साल में इतना रिटर्न दे दिया है. ओके, सो यू हैव सम आइडिया. दोज आइडियाज यू कैन ask in ChatGPT to make a code for you, and they will make that code and you can inbuilt in TradingView in PineScript adapter. We'll just see a small example. We are saying that we want to have a strategy code in version 5, which is the latest version. No doubt you not mention always. If you get any error, you push back the error in ChatGPT. वो सीख के आपको खुद ही सिखा देगा कि चलो अभी एरर आया, सॉरी, अपोलॉजिज माई सेल्फ, आई विल करेक्ट. ऐसा ChatGPT खुद आपको बोल देगा. आजकल सॉरी लोग बोलते नहीं है, बट ChatGPT सॉरी बोल देता है. तो they will train the code, and those code will be used for your past data analysis also, whether your logic actually functions properly in the past. And now if you want to do a forward doing, so same code can be used for auto trading. Okay, so if you like that code, you can play with numbers. EMA 5 डाल दिया, 12 डाल दिया. So moving averages मुझे 20 दिन का देखना है, 200 दिन का देखना है, वो दोनों का क्रॉसओवर देखना है. Is that video getting run? Okay, so probably ChatGPT is working slow, and we are going fast. So this will run a code. And when you run a code, can you make it little fast forward? Yeah, so it has run this code. We just copy this code. And we have inbuilt expense ratio also. For example, आप जब trade करते हो, so any broker charges you brokerage, STT, commission. I want to know मेरा गले में कितना आने वाला है after all expenses. I should know that. I shouldn't be knowing कि मैं broker को कमा के दे रहा हूँ क्या. So considering all that, it gives you triggers, it gives you returns, and probably you can play with numbers, improve it, and once you know this, you can run this into 3,000 stocks or 2,000 stocks, जो भी आपको मन चाहे. Based on screeners, if you got 200 stocks, you can play with that 200 stocks. Based on RPA, which Karan Bhai had told earlier, you can run this on a daily basis, okay, and on a continuous basis also. And those alerts can come on your mail, can also directly enable trade in your own account. It's you may be traveling, you may not have internet, everything. You can keep this in the cloud, and scheduler base, it will always run, and trades are getting in your account. आप जागते रहो, सोते रहो, घूमते रहो, पैसा कुछ ना कुछ तो बन ही जाएगा. मतलब it's all about getting on the toes, doing homework, and then using it in a better way and a more logical way, because now what we have in our brain, we have to give it to somebody so that he can work for us, and we can get into more analytical work rather than getting into execution work. That's an idea.
Since you mentioned the RPAs developed by Karan, right, and ये थोड़ा अपना stock market का हो गया, but say as a CA or as a business person, I have lot of small tasks to do other than the RPAs that Karan shared कि आप repetitive tasks को आप कैसे automate कर सकते हैं. But say there are some tasks which are not repetitive but very tedious jobs which I don't think that I have the time to do for, or थोड़ा bore हो रहा है, कंटाला आ रहा है. So how can I use AI in my office or in even for that matter in my personal life to do some small tedious tasks, and how we can leverage that AI development for our benefit?
So the first use case that comes to my mind for AI is letter writing and drafting anything. Say you want to draft a mail. अभी पर्सनल लाइफ की बात करें, शायद बिजनेस में नहीं है कोई, शायद कोई इन्वेस्टर भी नहीं है, लेकिन उसको बिजनेस लाइफ में एक नोटिस आया, नोटिस बोर्ड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बोर्ड से कि आपको राइट अ लेटर, तो उसको नहीं पता कैसे लिखना है. वो नॉर्मल है, मे बी वो 50 ईयर का है, मे बी वो 30 ईयर का, उसने कभी लेटर ड्राफ्ट ही नहीं किया, फॉर्मल लेटर. आप सिर्फ चैट जीपीटी को बोलो कि ये मेरा नोटिस आया, आप अपलोड कर दो आपका नोटिस, एंड उसको बोलो कि आई वांट टू राइट अ प्रोफेशनल लेटर, ही विल ड्राफ्ट इट फॉर यू. यू वोंट हैव टू डू एनीथिंग, खाली आप उसको प्रूफ रीड कर दो कि इसने बराबर किया है कि नहीं किया है. ऐसे ही आप कभी बैंक में गए, आपने बैंक ने आपको बोला कि ये सब ऐसे नहीं होगा, आप मुझे रिटर्न रिक्वेस्ट लिख के दीजिए, तभी आप बोलो कि मैं क्या लिखूँ इंग्लिश में, मुझे नहीं समझ रहा है. आप चैट जीपीटी को बोल दीजिए कि ये ड्राफ्ट करके दे दो, वो करके दे देगा. ऐसे अगर एडवांस में जाए, इफ़ यू वांट टू यूज़ एक्सेल और पावर क्वेरी और सम एडवांस फीचर्स एंड यू डोंट नो व्हाट टू यूज़, आप चैट जीपीटी को पूछ लीजिए कि मुझे स्टेप बाय स्टेप इंस्ट्रक्शंस दे दीजिए, वो दे देगा. वो आपको बोलेगा कि ये क्लिक करो, वो क्लिक करो, आप ये फॉर्मूला डालो, वो फॉर्मूला भी बना के दे देगा. यू वोंट हैव टू डू एनीथिंग. आपको जो भी चाहिए आप चैट जीपीटी से पूछ सकते हो फॉर मेजर टास्क.
Thank you, Karan. Think Henrik, how can we'll come back to accounting. So how can technology help us with various invoicing? Today we have a lot of invoicing happening. एक invoice के साथ e-way bill बनता है, e-invoice बनता है, उसमें किधर एक पैसे का भी mismatch, even if there is a rupee or a पैसे difference, the transport gets stopped at the border checkpost, and then it becomes a nightmare for the businessman to get that parcel cleared, right? Yes, so how can they ensure that this invoicing or this multiple data points are accurate, they go seamlessly with each other? And also first finish this, then I'll come to the next question.
So basically what happens is that accuracy as well as compliance of law is the key over here. Whatever data we intend to enter into our invoice, say there are 10 items, one of them being this bottle, we have identified the HSN of this bottle, we have identified the tax rate of this bottle. There are, I would say, application softwares available in the market, even at phone level. Say, for example, Vyapar or Khata Book or My Bill Book. They are all cloud-based softwares which are available in application format as well on the phone. Any layman, even a regular truck driver, if taught decently well, can create an invoice, and a very valid invoice whose data can directly be sent to the e-invoice portal or the e-way bill portal. And obviously, desktop-based applications like Tally Busy, they have those functionalities wherein directly from the backend, that is API integration, from the backend, the e-invoice, that is the details of the e-invoice, that is IRN and the QR code and everything, they can be generated. Same goes for these mobile-based applications as well. Predominantly, it is all about how well are the data points configured and how well we have identified our goods or services.
Okay. So, in continuation with the invoicing, one of the biggest pain point for businesses today, and especially the MSMEs, is the recovery of dues. Right? Today, you raise a bill, अब आप 6 महीना, 8 महीना, 1 साल आप client के पीछे पड़े रहो, customer के पीछे रहो, कि sir, please send us the money, our capital is getting blocked. Right? I think that is the biggest pain point as chartered accountants also we feel in our practice, as well as with our clients also, who say that यार recovery आना बहुत difficult है, capital block होते जा रहा है. Right? So how can technology help businesses to tackle this big pain point that they are facing?
So the first thing that comes into this picture is reminder. Reminder to the business owner that he has to remind his debtors. That is where the first thing starts. Obviously, when we ourselves are reminded as business owners, the next step that comes is what are the ways from which we can, by one click or maybe by a few steps, we can send those emails, send those messages to so many of our vendors that XYZ amount is pending in your case, kindly pay. There would be reminders on the basis of your credit period. Not all vendors must be having the same credit period, 30 days, 40 days, 15 days. MSME law, section 43B, I suppose, has come in for those 45 days time limit, else the expense is also disallowed. In cloud-based softwares, the reminder options are very easily available. Further, practically what the issue is, there is 1 or 2 reminders which we'll send, and then there will be some vendors who will be say, अरे यार अपना तो जूना relation छे, हमना थोड़ोक समझो ने, थोड़ी कड़की चाले छे. So cloud-based softwares have got this functionality as well, that for some vendors, we simply don't send those reminders for certain periods. As far as desktop-based are concerned, the possibilities do exist, but again, directly it is very difficult. Use of third-party apps is the key over here, through which we share our data, and the third-party app will send the reminder. I would just like to add one more point. As far as Tally is concerned, there's one additional feature in Tally which has come in, wherein in the invoice itself or in any document that goes from Tally, the QR code, the UPI QR code will also go in of the exact same amount which we enter, that this, at least this amount should be collected from the client. And through customization possibilities, we can send a small extract that a total this much balance is outstanding, kindly pay. That is also a possibility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anik. So I think ये तो बड़ा पेन पॉइंट था. एक और पेन पॉइंट जब as chartered accountants we face while doing income tax returns, and also the clients feel is a bit of a task, is when client has multiple demat accounts and we ask them to give transaction statements. Sir, capital gain निकालना है, थोड़ा transaction statement भेज दो. And if that client is an active investor, having Zerodha, Angel, Motilal Oswal, everything, then first it is a task for them to gather all the data, and then it is a task for us to compile all the data and figure out the right taxes that they have to pay. So Umang bhai, are there any tools which we can use where there is a single point or a single button which we click और ये सब डेटा हमको हाथ में आ जाए, रेडीमेड क्लाइंट का भी ज़िंदगी आसान, हमारा भी ज़िंदगी आसान, सितंबर और जुलाई में संडे को हम घर पे जा सके?
ज़रूर जा पाएंगे, बट उसके लिए थोड़ा काम इन्वेस्टर को भी करना पड़ेगा, एंड अगर वो सीए को परमिशन देता है तो थोड़ा काम सीए को भी करना पड़ेगा. सो देयर इज़ अ टूल कॉल्ड एम प्रॉफिट. It's a very well-known tool. Few of the chartered accountants who handle many of those investors जिसका खाली share market में ज़्यादा काम होता है, so they use this and it's a very trustworthy software. It's works with the basic funda. उन्होंने सारे brokers का reports मंगा के टैग कर लिया कि सबका फॉर्मेट्स क्या क्या है, ठीक है, एंड वो सारे रिपोर्ट जनरली अपने अपने ईमेल आईडी पे क्लाइंट के पास आता भी है ऑन अ रेगुलर इंटरवल, क्वार्टरली, डेली कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नोट्स सब आता है, ठीक है, बट मेल इतने बढ़ जाते हैं तो हम कभी देखते नहीं है, 100 मेल तो इतने ज़्यादा होते हैं, तो दे वर्क ऑन द बेसिक फंडा दैट उतने मेल्स जो रिकॉग्नाइज टैगलाइंस है वो फॉरवर्ड हो जाते हैं. एम प्रॉफिट ने एक ईमेल आईडी क्रिएट किया आपके लिए, उसमें फॉरवर्ड होता है और उधर से पीडीएफ स्क्रैपिंग करके वो सारा डेटा वो लोग सॉफ्टवेयर में आपके लॉगिन में, आपके डेस्कटॉप बेस्ड सॉफ्टवेयर में आपके पास सेव हो जाते हैं, ठीक है, तो डेटा आपके पास ही रहता है, उनके पास नहीं जाता है. तो कभी वो डर लगता है कि भाई मैंने इतना शेयर ट्रांजैक्शन किया, उसको पता चल गया, आज इनकम टैक्स को पता चलता है, आपके सीए को पहले पता चलता है, आपको बाद में पता चलता है. एएस रिपोर्ट से सीए पूछता है कि आपने बस जितने ब्रोकर अकाउंट है आपको पता नहीं है, हाँ है मेरे को भी नहीं पता था, तो अभी वो देन तो इनकम टैक्स को मिल गया है. सो डोंट वरी ऑन दैट साइड, बट मोर फ्रॉम गेटिंग फ्रेंडली विद टेक्नोलॉजी. तो वो सारे रिपोर्ट्स क्लब करके यू गेट ऑल द कैपिटल गेन रिपोर्ट्स, मल्टीपल सेगमेंट्स, मल्टीपल ब्रोकर तो छोड़ दो, एक ब्रोकर में हमने करेंसी में भी ट्रेड कर दिया, एफएनओ में भी ट्रेड कर दिया, इक्विटी में भी ट्रेड कर दिया, और फिर वो शेयर्स हमने ट्रांसफर भी कर दिए. तो ये इट्स अ हेल लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स विच ट्रांजैक्शंस राइट नाउ वी डू, ओके, बट ऑल दोज गेट्स टैग्ड at multiple broker and multiple segment and multiple individuals in your family also. So right now, if you have 4 different individuals in your account, in a family, HUF, wife, husband, children, सबके multiple brokers का भी आप एक group बना के कर सकते हो. To some extent it is free, but when you get into multiple accounts, तो पैसा थोड़ा भरना पड़ता है, थोड़ा gain करने के लिए. तो those are very nominal fees they work because they are working on volumes, and all those broker accounts also they get updated themselves. आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि आपके ब्रोकर अकाउंट ने अपडेट किया अकाउंट, वो फॉर्मेट एम प्रॉफिट ने भी अपडेट कर दिया, एंड इट वुड बी अवेलेबल इन योर कोलेटेड व्यू, वन व्यू कॉन्सेप्ट. आपको आपका स्टॉक्स का प्रॉफिट लॉस ट्रांजैक्शन सब वन व्यू मिल जाता है एट अ फैमिली लेवल ऑल्सो. And similar approach you could do from your portfolio, many users, money controlled, in money concept. You can also do in your own Google Sheets. Prices get updated from Yahoo Finance and Google Finance on a live basis. You just put on your existing holding and वो update होते रहता है automatic. So that also mechanism you could use it from a one view concept. Thank you.
Thank you, Umang bhai. One last question before we depart, right? We discussed a lot of positivity or usefulness or use cases of technology and artificial intelligence. But one question, like Umang bhai also rightly said right now, is that of data privacy and the related risks attached with it. Because today when we suggest any software, any tool for invoicing or for share markets or even for automation, the first question from client is, अरे यार इसके पास मेरा डेटा जाएगा, मेरे एम्प्लॉयज़ को किधर क्लाउड पे डेटा रखा और पता चल गया मेरे एम्प्लॉयज़ को कि मैं किसको कितना सैलरी देता हूँ. सो व्हाट आर द कंट्रोल्स और व्हाट आर द रिस्क्स रिलेटेड विथ प्राइवेसी, एंड दैट क्वेश्चन आई वुड लाइक टू पोज टू all of our panelists before we part for the day.
So I would like to take on risk related with AI first. So whenever you are using AI, please don't use your private data. Don't put your financials in the AI. Just use what you want and replace that data with yours whenever you are using it. Another thing you have to keep in mind is ChatGPT may not be factually correct every time. It may bluff. So please keep in mind, don't ask him कि इस पे GST लगेगा कि नहीं लगेगा, इस पे इतना परसेंटेज TDS आता है कि नहीं आता है. वो शायद रॉन्ग भी बता देगा, बाद में मेरे नाम पे मत आप बिल फाड़ देना. तो ये 2 चीज़ आप ज़रूर से ख्याल रखिएगा. स्टोरेज की बात करें तो हम लोग काफ़ी लोग वन ड्राइव यूज़ करते हैं, जो एक फ्री वर्जन रहता है. जो पर्सनल यूज़ के लिए रहता है. तो whenever you are using something for your company, please make sure that you use commercial versions. You use enterprise versions. उसमें काफ़ी security parameters पहले से set होते हैं. SharePoint में you can create folders, subgroups such as only those persons who are given access can use the data. So please don't use free data for your commercial purposes. आप पैसा कमा रहे हो तो पैसा थोड़ा खर्चा भी कर दीजिए.
I'll take the taxation part and the accounting part over here. So basically, many of you would be knowing that there are huge advertisements that come in, especially when we search anything related to tax on our phones. There will be advertisements relating to those cloud-based softwares or those apps which are predominantly free and which are sort of well popular with those who want to, say for example, who want to file their income tax returns by themselves or who want to file any other return or any other report at a very cheaper rate. So just a couple of days back, I was going through one of such, I would say, the most famous in the tax filing fraternity. They, in the initial advertisements, they claim that your data is secure and private. However, when we go to their privacy policy, they blatantly claim that they will be using the data for their benefit as well as to sell it to third parties. Furthermore, they also claim that the data, not only of financial data that is used for tax returns, but data collected by their website, that is by cookies, relating to other websites which have been browsed. So this is like a step ahead of Facebook. Not just collecting personal data, but collecting financial data as well. They know more about us than we know of ourselves. We need to take care of, obviously everybody is not going to read the entire privacy policy, but online tools specifically should be taken with a pinch of salt, I would say.
Thank you. Umang bhai, parting thoughts.
So there is no doubt that data leakages happen. Even I own an LLP, so I get mailers from some consultants who have taken data from MCA, and they send us that you can be part of startup schemes. जबकि मैंने स्टार्टअप स्कीम में बेनिफिट भी ले लिया है, तो उसको अगर MCA से डेटा मिल सकता है, उसको अगर बैंकिंग से डेटा मिल सकता है, आपको कॉल आता है, उसको बिल्डर से डेटा मिल सकता है, उसको इनकम टैक्स ऑफिस के प्यून से डेटा मिल सकता है, तो उसको कहीं से भी डेटा मिल सकता है. ओके, सो दैट इज वन ट्रूथ वी हैव टू एक्सेप्ट इफ यू विश टू वर्क इन द करंट सिनेरियो. Okay, otherwise we are not in existence. To some extent we can curtail the risk, like Karan said. Similar approach from an investment perspective, you can always use new email IDs for each of the, or a separate email ID only for investments, so that your personal data, personal emails do not get mixed up with that. Many of the brokers now have enabled OTP based, so there is no way somebody can get into your account without your OTP. But no doubt some have, there is also a hack to it. So I do not want to get into that hack. But also there is a, typically a problem comes in cloud-based and a desktop-based. Desktop-based का data हमारे पास है ना, तो हमें लगता है कि मैं king हूँ. But there is always an hack to your own system also. So there are pros and cons. Case desktop-based software cannot be viewed or utilized when you're out of your office. Your cloud-based are more accessible, so people feel cloud-based softwares. But there is a gray area, there is a risk. We should acknowledge that. To some extent we can curtail, but not 100%. Okay, so to that we can try to imbibe into it. From investment perspective, largely SEBI and exchanges have tried to curtail, but जब hack CDSL के server में हो सकता है, hack exchange NSE के server में हो सकता है, तो हम तो बहुत छोटे खिलाड़ी हैं उन सब में. So जो आप services use करते हो, software use कर सकते हो, वो सब कहीं ना कहीं से hack होके एक्सेस मिल सकता है, एंड कई बार हम ही मोबाइल से एक्सेस दे देते हैं. वी शुड नाउ गेट इन टू आर फोन्स, सारे ऐप के सेटिंग्स में देख लो कि आपने क्या क्या एक्सेस दिया है. तो वो जहाँ पे हम कर्टेल कर सकते हैं कर्टेल करना चाहिए. कहाँ एक सिंपल एग्जांपल है, हमने अपने ब्रोकर के ऐप में ना सब जगह पे एक्सेस दे दिया होगा एसएमएस एंड ईमेल को. तो कहीं पे भी आप लॉगिन करते हो ना, तो तुरंत से वो ओटीपी पकड़ लेता है और आपका लॉगिन हो जाता है. आपको ओटीपी टाइप करने का ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ता है. सो अगर आपका फ़ोन चोरी हो गया और उसके पासवर्ड नहीं है तो वो तो आपके ब्रोकर में लॉगिन कर सकता है. सो दोज areas where you can avoid giving permissions, you should do it. But otherwise, you can mask the data to some extent where you're using ChatGPT like Karan said. But nevertheless, you have to live with some risk. And पैसा उसमें कम रखो जिधर रिस्क ज़्यादा लग रहा है. बाकी जगह तो पैसा कमा लो और क्या करो.
Thank you, Umang. So I think just before we conclude, just on behalf of CVOCA, we would like to share that we are conducting various such courses related to using GST softwares, GST portals, TDS, TCS softwares and the portals, and we are also coming up with an office automation course where not only the RPAs we discussed, but various other email management and RPAs will be taught. And all these courses are end-to-end tech-based. There is no physical attendance or physical interface. All of these are taught on Zoom, online, complete use of technology, and these are being taught since past 4 years. And now office automation course, tentatively to be launched in April, is also again entirely tech-based. So we'll be sharing all the details as and when we finalize them. Thank you so much.
Myself, Milinanji Dedia, Gam Bhojpur. So on behalf of Matushri Manibai Shivji Devji Kanya Kedavani Fund, I would like to extend a heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed panelists for generously sharing their time, expertise, and their invaluable insights with us today. So your contributions have enriched our discussions and inspired us a lot by your ideas and perspectives. We are truly fortunate to have such an opportunity to learn from you with your vast experience that you have. Your dedication to the topic has been evident, and your willingness to engage with our audience reflects your commitment is advancing. So thank you. Now we'll be starting with felicitation. So for facilitating Deep Chheda, sir, I would like to call Stanakwasi Mahajan's trustee, Rajesh Shah, sir. For facilitating Umang Soni, sir, I would like to call Stanakwasi Mahajan's trustee, Mr. Ketan Sayya. CA Ketan Sayya, I'm so sorry. For facilitating CA Henik Shah, sir, I would like to call Mrs. Manisha Shah. CA Karan Shah, sir, I would like to call Mr. Kamlesh Chawla. Thank you so much, CVOCA Association, for your valuable time and insights. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you.